What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode 24 of the Primetime Sports Podcast, hosted by Joey Mayalari. So today I will be providing you with an update on how the Quincy Men's Softball League has been going. I'll give you an update on how the Stellwagen softball season has gone so far. I did update you guys a lot in my BC Sports Radio show. Haven't done it at all in this summer podcast. I'm happy to give you guys an update on how we've been playing. We actually just won our play-in matchup last night in a 3-game series against Local 4, and are now advancing to the next round. So I'll break down Game 3, how it went last night, and then also give some key moments and break down the entire lineup and how everyone did in general. So to start off, Stellwagen, huge victory over Local 4, a fellow B Division rival. We won last night, Game 3 of the 3-game series, 22-3. It's been very close with them, a lot of the games we've played them. In the regular season, we were 2-1 against them. Game 1 of the regular season, we played them in April. We won that game 15-6. Then Game 2, we won 12-9 in the regular season, and then in Game 3 of the regular season, we lost 13-12. If you look at this play-in round of the playoffs, it was best 2 out of 3. Game 1, we won 14-13. Very physical, intense game from what I heard. I was not at that game. I missed it, but we came home with a W, which is most important, but it was a very physical game. We won the game, and that's all that matters in the end. But winning that game is huge to start things off right for the playoffs. Then in Game 2, we were up 5-4 heading into the bottom of the 7th, but they had the top of their order coming up at the bottom of the 7th, so we need 3 outs to win the game, but they just went hit after hit after hit, walked it off against us, and won that game 6-5 to force a Game 3. It did give us some firepower, though, to respond in a big way, and we did last night. As you can see, heading into last night, we were 3-2 against them in the regular season, in the playoffs combined, with 3 games of those 5 decided by 1 run, all close, evenly matched games. The home team actually won every single one of the 3 playoff games, and then also I was looking at the full season schedule in the 3 regular season games as well. The home team won 2. So the home team won all 6 games of the regular season playoffs combined, so it's clear that home field advantage played a huge role in this series, and we ended up coming up big in a huge way last night. So I'm going to break down some key moments of the game. To start the game, snowballs in left field, hosed a guy out. Their leadoff guy had a ground ball into the left field gap, and he was trying to get 2 bases out of it to take a double, trying to stay on extra base. Snowballs is an absolute cannon in left field, throws a gun in to second base on a great line drive. Matt cuts it off, gets it, ends up getting the guy in a rundown. The tag was applied by Mully at first. The kid was out of the base path too. We ended up getting the out. Snowball showed as a lead arm, and honestly, that set the tone for the rest of the game. On the first pitch of the game, in the first swing by our opponent, Local 4, we kind of really just locked in after that. Once Snowballs hosed that kid, I think it really did set the tone for the rest of the contest. Kyle Camp flashed a great glove on the mound as well. One specific player I wanted to highlight was when the Gold Glove pitcher took a line drive back to him. It deflected off his glove in the air with his quick reflexes. He found the ball in the air, caught it in motion with his bare hand, and tossed it over to first base for a great double play. There was heavy traffic over there first base, I might add as well. Mully had to catch the ball over there while also finding the base and avoiding the base runner, who was also trying to get back to the base in time. He was also battling the sun, too. What a play by Mully. He's not a Gold Glove first baseman for nothing. I always say he's a Gold Glover. I mentioned that on my BC Sports Radio show a ton. Anyways, the next play, there was a key moment that I want to break down. Switty had a bases clearing triple in the second inning. Me, Steve, and Matt were all on base. We all got on base to start the inning, and we ended up scoring on his triple. Switty actually almost caught up with Matt at third base. That's how fast he was flying around the bases. It was 4-2 before he hit that. Then once he hit that, bases loaded, nobody out. As I said, bases clearing triple. It was 7-2, and we never looked back after that, adding 2 more runs in the second to make it a 5-run inning, and we were up 9-2 at that point. And we didn't really get into too many jams defensively. It seemed like we were always in control and cool, calm, and collected. But one time I remember we were in a sort of a jam was when they had runners on first and second with 2 outs in the second inning. Still early in the contest, they already scored 2 runs. The closest they ever were in the game was 4-2 score. And there was a pop-out to third base to Steve, our third baseman, to end the inning. And after that, we just had a comfortable lead, and we never really looked back. We never were in trouble at all, and it was really our explosive offense that kept us going. And our defense was great as well, but our offense was just unstoppable. In one more play I'm going to highlight was Switty was unreal in left center. As I said, he had a great game hitting-wise as well, but in left center, he had a great play. Running probably about 150 feet, he covered a lot of ground to grab a fly ball in between left field and left center field, between him and Snowballs, on the run of the 6th inning. Made a great play. It was an absolute vacuum out there. We really needed it, though. I think the crispest defense we ever played was last night, and the best offense we ever played was last night. So it really was just an all-time performance by us. The fourth inning is where really things started going crazy for us, where the game really blew open. We were up 11-2 going into the fourth inning, and by the time the fourth inning ended, we got 5 more runs. It was 16-2, and after that, it was kind of it. 11-2 still kind of a ball game because you give up 5 runs that next inning, or you give 4 runs, you give them life, and it's 11-6. But once we were up 16-2 after that fourth inning, we just never looked back. I knew we were in a good position. I knew that was probably it. But you obviously have to still play the game, get outs, and still score runs. In the fourth inning, though, we were up 11-2 heading into it. As I said, Mad Dog, Sean, and Dave McKenna, all 3 McKenna brothers reached base with a single to start off the inning, all 3 in a row to get us going. And after that, we ended up scoring 5 more runs, and that really was just all we needed, really just nail in the coffin every single run we scored after that. The 7th inning, we capped off the game with some crazy plays on defense. A circus catch by Matt at second base. There's a ball over his shoulder in shallow left field, and he found the ball somehow turning acrobatically and made a great play. He also had a great game defensively in Game 2. He had some of the most ridiculous plays we had on defense of the season he had in Game 2. One of them, he dove up the middle on a ball past the pitcher's mound in between second and shortstop. Dove, found the ball, gave it to me in midair. I caught it, turned through to first. Mully did a great stretch. We almost got the kid, but he might have beat us by a quarter of a step. It was really close. I thought we could have honestly got the call and got the out call, but we ended up not getting it. But either way, it was quite the play. He had some great plays other than that as well in Game 2. But in Game 3, to close out the game, he got one of the outs in that 7th inning on a great over-the-shoulder grab. And then the third out of the game was even crazier. An acrobatic, impossible grab by Sean McKenna in right center to close it out. No better note to end the game on. The ball was by him. It was past him. He somehow just found it at the last second, turned, just threw his glove out, made a great catch acrobatically. Showed a great flash of the leather there, honestly. Gold glove candidate after that play out there in right center. But there's no better way to close that game out on. And overall, I don't think we really had any errors that I could think of. We might have had a couple throwing errors, but fielding-wise, with our gloves, we might have had one error and maybe one on a throw. So a couple errors, honestly. And besides that, that was the most crisp and all-around dominant game we've ever had altogether. So quite the performance. Very proud of how the boys fought, and I'm looking forward to seeing how we perform now in the next round against Local 103, another Union team. So now I'm going to break down what the lineup did. We went with a 12-man lineup, and it worked out very well to Chris Mad Dog McKenna's credit. He was great as the captain. He's been great all season, but that was the deepest and most productive lineup we've ever had. And our backs are against the wall. After losing Game 2, it's 1-1. We lose last night, we go home. It's win or go home, and we end up getting a huge victory, and credit to Mad Dog for putting that lineup together. So to start off, Switty was playing left center field leading off. He was 2 for 4 with the bases clearing triple in the 2nd inning, which I just talked about. He had 4 runs batted in, also drew a walk and scored 3 runs. He was running the bases like it was a 3-2 ball game in the 6th inning, but we were very relentless in our effort. We knew if we stopped going hard and just stopped trying to score runs, we've lost a lot of games in the past after being too comfortable. And we felt that pain too many times, where if we just kept scoring runs and letting the offense keep going, and then also playing good defense and getting 3 outs every single inning and trying to minimize the amount of runs and errors the other team score off of, we know that if we ever just try to let up and not give it our all, we've lost a lot of games in the past. I'm happy we were very relentless and just kept going and kept scoring runs. And as you can see, Switty was still playing like it was a 3-2 ball game in the 6th inning, and I love that. We really needed that. He had a great game, 2 for 4, as I said, bases clearing triple, 4 RBIs, 3 runs scored. Got on base for the walks. He was 3 for 5 on base-wise in his 5 plate appearances. Batting second, Snowboss playing left field, was unreal out there offensively and defensively. 4 for 5 at the plate with 4 singles, 3 runs scored, 3 RBIs. Was a big part of the offense out there in the second spot of the lineup. There was one play where he was rounding third base. I think it was probably the 4th or 5th inning. No third base coach there. Has to make a decision, a split second, decides to still go, try to run home, beats the throw out, scores the run, huge. And that's just how relentless we were. As I said, we just kept scoring runs and kept playing the game very risky and playing it fearlessly, though, too. Our base running was not afraid at all, ever, of trying to force a throw or try to get an extra base. And it really worked out. As I said, 22 runs. You're not going to score that just by accident, and that just shows how productive our offense was the whole entire night. So Snowballs had a great game out there on the field. As I said, started the game off very hot with a throw from left field, threw a BB to second base, got us in a rundown to get that leadoff guy out. And honestly, I said after that was really just a statement for the rest of the game and really got us going. And then at the plate, he was unreal. 4 or 5, 4 singles, I said, 3 runs scored and 3 RBIs. So what a game from him, batting second in the lineup. Then we had Green coming up, batting third. He was the extra hitter of the lineup. He honestly had probably the hardest line drive of the season for us back to the pitcher in his first at-bat. But local forest starter made a great play on the mound, flashed the leather, made a great grab on the fly, rocket right back at him. Green did well, though, at the plate besides that at-bat. Finished the game 2 for 5 and reached base in 3 of 5 at-bats, or 3 of 5 plate appearances, that is, with a run scored and a run batted in as well. He had a very good game out there, and he's used to playing the field, so being an extra hitter for him, and same thing with Mad Dog being a DH. Both of those guys are used to being out there in the field, so their role last night was being hitters, and both of them excelled in that position, getting on base 3 or 5 times to Green, and then I'll talk about Mad Dog in a minute. But Green had a great game, as I said, starting off the game hot with that line drive. It was an out, but had it got by that pitcher, it's going to get up the middle and definitely probably score a run. So great line drive from him there, and obviously, once again, it set the tone for the rest of his at-bats. He got on base 3 of the next 4 plate appearances after that, and was just hitting the ball hard left and right. So good game for Green out there, batting third in the lineup as the extra hitter. Then we had Kyle Camp, our ace on the mound, hitting cleanup. He's been brilliant all season on the mound, throwing strikes. His off-season pitching regimen, which he talked about in my BC Sports Radio show, one of the episodes where I had him as a post-game interview. He talked about his off-season pitching regimen, and it's really paid off, honestly. He played great last night at the mound. At the dish, he was great as well. 2 for 4, 2 runs scored. Showed speed on the base paths as well. In his first plate appearance, got on base and scored a run, too. He actually didn't sub a runner there for him at all. Made a great effort running around the bases and scoring. He pitched great at the mound, as I said. I don't think he allowed a walk all night, and also struck out a batter swinging in around the 3rd or 4th inning. So quite the game there for Camp. He was great out there, and at the plate, 2 for 4, 2 runs scored, and also pitched great on the mound. So Camp was a great performer for us last night, and honestly, we really needed everything out of him on the mound since he's been so reliable all season out there, limiting walks and getting strikeouts. Next up, Chris Mad Dog McKenna, batting 5th, playing designated hitter. Went 2 for 3 at the plate with a walk and reached base in 3 or 4 plate appearances. He scored 3 runs and also had 3 runs batted in. 2 rocket singles for him and ran the bases very well despite his hamstring injury he suffered a few weeks ago now. You wouldn't be able to tell he had any hamstring injury by the way he was jetting it around the diamond, though, last night. 3 runs scored, 3 runs batted in, 2 for 3, also added a walk. He gets on base a ton, on-base machine. 3 for 4, as I said, in his 4 plate appearances, and was jetting it around the bases, 3 runs scored. And we really needed everything out of him as well. He was the DH, and then you had Green as the extra hitter, and both of those guys went 2 for 5 and 3 for 4. So really that's what we needed on base-wise. Green was on base 2 or 5 times, or 3 or 5 times that is, and Mad Dog was on base 3 or 4 times. So 6 out of 9 times between our extra hitter and DH, and usually we don't have a DH and an extra hitter. We usually just bat 10 guys, the 10 we need. But Mad Dog went with the 12-man lineup last night, knowing the physicality of Game 1, just in case we were ever going to have a guy get thrown out or someone get hurt. You have an extra guy in the lineup just in case to sub them in, and it did the job last night between the designated hitter and the extra hitter between Green and Mad Dog. 6 of 9 on base and scored a ton of runs and were on base a ton, so we really needed that. So credit there to Mad Dog for putting together a great lineup last night, and I'm going to give you a post-game interview of his in just a few minutes. Next up, we had Dave McKenna, or Sean McKenna, that is, actually, before we had Dave. Sean McKenna batting 6th and playing right center. He was red hot at the plate last night. Was honestly probably the most productive hitter at the dish. I would say him and also Snowball. Snowballs was 4 or 5 out there, and then McKenna, Sean McKenna, that is, was 4 or 4 with a huge triple in the last inning, 3 singles, a run scored, 4 runs batted in. He didn't even record an out in any of his 4 plate appearances. Was 4-4 on base with 4 hits. Such an impressive performance from him on the field. As I said, made a great play to end the game for the last out, acrobatic grab, and then was a great game for him at the dish as well. He's been playing great as of late, hitting well and playing well in the field, and we really knew we needed a complete game all around offensively and defensively, and that's what it takes. You need to play great offense, you need to play great defense, and at the end of the day, our backs were against the wall. It was Game 3. We had no option but to play our best brand of softball, and we did just that last night. And we know we're going to make mistakes at the end of the day. You're going to have some errors, misplayed balls in the outfield, infield, some bad throws, some tough at-bats, but it's all about throwing those plays away and making an next play. And I feel like you need to play great offense and great defense, as I said. And a great epitome of that last night, and a great example of it was Sean McKenna out there in right center field. Had a great game offensively, getting on base 4 times, I said, adding it 4 runs batted in and a run scored, had a triple, 3 singles, and then played great defensively. And I feel like we needed that performance. We needed everything out of him last night that we got to keep things going, keep things going on offense. 4-4, having him hitting 6th in the lineup and being on base 4 times, that's huge in that middle part of your order. And I think if you look at it, having all 4 McKenna brothers, or 3 McKenna brothers that is, in a row, Mad Dog, Sean, Davo, that's the best lineup I think we've had all season. I think that 12-man lineup we had last night was the most powerful lineup we had. And I think we've had the 3 brothers hit in a row at some point during the season. I think it worked as well in some other games. But last night, it was just a great all-around offensive performance for those 3 guys. And as I said, Chris got on base 3 or 4 times. Sean got on base 4 or 4 times. And then Davo, who I'm going to talk about now in a second. Davo, batting 7th, playing catcher for Kyle Kemp, was on base 2 or 4 times, reaching base safely with a single and reach base on an error, added in a run scored and an RBI. So as I said, the McKenna Big 3, they were all on base all night, reaching base 9 of 12 plate appearances, and all 3 of those guys being in a row. As I said, that was the most powerful lineup we had all season. You could get everything you needed out of all 3 of those guys, whether it was getting a single, getting a run batted in, getting a sacrifice play. Those 3 guys did it all last night. And we really needed that. And Davo's had a great season. Shauno's had a great season. Both those guys have a great season. And obviously Mad Dog as well. All 3 of them had great seasons. And having them as the heart of your order right there, 5, 6, 7, it was just great. We needed that. We need everything out of them, as I said. And Davo, I've been telling all season he's been playing well. Davo's been having a great season at the dish. And last night, reaching base 2 or 4 times, we needed that. Also getting an RBI and a run scored. He played great out there. And he's been playing great on defense as well all season. Next up, Harry Braga, playing right field, batting 8th for us. The Celtics superfan had another good game as well. Reached base in 3 or 4 at-bats with 2 singles, reaching base with an error as well. 2 runs scored, going 2 for 4 with an RBI. Adds a ton of speed on the base paths as well. Adds a ton of experience, too. This is probably about his 4th season now. And he makes plays consistently on the field. He's a great player out there in the outfield. He's played left field, right field, second base. Played a lot of third base, if I remember right, too. He's played everywhere in the field this season. Similar to Steve Abrams, too. Abrams has been playing second, short, and third this season as well. So very versatile players. They can play anywhere in the field, and you really need that. You need that Brock Holt type of player where you can put them anywhere on the diamond, and you know they're going to make a play. So whether it's Braga playing second, left, or right field, or it's Abrams playing third, second, or short, you like having that flexibility of being able to move them around the diamond since they can make you plays no matter where they're playing in the lineup. And Braga played well last night too in right field. Not too many balls were hit to him, but he made the plays that were hit to him and played great offensively, as I said, getting on base in 3 or 4 at-bats. Next up, Mully playing first base, our Gold Glover over there, hitting 9th. He was crushing the ball all night, honestly. He was great, going 3 for 4 with 3 singles, 2 runs scored, and an RBI. Mully had his best offensive performance of the season, I'd say. And one thing about Mully is he's been hitting the ball hard all season, and his expected batting average, so I'm not trying to sound like Chaim Bloom here, but his expected batting average this season is much higher than what his actual batting average is right now. Similar to what Alex Verdugo's been doing all year for the Red Sox. Mully, Verdugo, both those guys have been hitting rockets into gaps and been putting up great contact, honestly, all season, but Fields has just been making great plays against them. And at the end of the day, that obviously cuts down the amount of hits you have. And if you look at Verdugo, his expected batting average this year is 287. He's only hit 264. So 23 points less than what his expected batting average should be is what his batting average is. So his expected batting average is 287. He's only hitting 264. With Mully having a great season with the contact off the bat, hitting the ball very hard, but they're just making plays against him. But last night, that was not the case. 3 for 4. 3 singles, 2 runs batted in, and RBI, as I said, was just crushing the ball all night. And also, he's been great on the field as well. He's been playing great at first base. He's been very sound there all year, stretching for balls, making scoops, making plays. Yesterday in that rundown, making a nice tag, getting that kid out of the base path as well. And then also making that double play happen with Kyle Kemp getting a line drive back and him catching the ball in there, throwing it to Mully. Mully finding the base, battling the sun, battling that kid diving back into first base, and also finding the base to step on, and then also stretching on every single ball from the infield this year, whether it's second, short, or third. He's been making plays all season stretching over there. So he's been very sound in the dish and defensively all year, and last night was just a great performance for him. 3 for 4, as I said, 3 singles, 2 runs scored, and also an RBI. And I think that I would say that's his best offensive performance all year. And he deserved, as I said, he's been hitting well all year, and just the other teams are making plays against him. Next up was me, batting 10th. I was playing shortstop. I was 3 for 3 at the plate with 3 singles. Added in a sac fly also in the 4th inning to score one of the McKennas. And I also had 2 runs batted in, so one other one besides that sac fly, and also scored a couple runs off of a few Switty hits as well. Switty, as I said, had a great night. But I was 3 for 3, 3 singles. A couple of my balls I hit into gaps between right field and right center. I was just going with where the pitch was, and a couple of my pitches were kind of over the plate, but a little bit towards the right side of the batter's box. So I just went with the pitch and wherever it was, and just went to right center, I think, in just about every one of my at-bats. But 3 for 3, I'll take any night. I'll take the win, obviously, most importantly. Then after I reflect on how my at-bats were, I'll take the 3 for 3 with the sac fly all day. I'm sure everyone else in this lineup would take their 3 for 4, 2 for 5, whatever they hit. When you win the game, it's all that matters at the end of the night, and I can't complain. Getting that win last night was most important, and 22 to 3, you can't ask for anything more. So, huge night for our team last night, as I said. Next up, Steve Abrams playing third base, batting 11th, and that's just how deep our order was last night. You had Abrams batting 11th, you had Matt batting 12th, and both of them were so consistent at the plate last night, so productive. Steve-O was great, 2 for 2, 2 singles, added in a walk and a sac fly in the 3rd inning, so in four of his plate appearances, he reached base in 3 of those 4. Had an RBI, had a run scored, has been hitting well at the dish, honestly, over the last few games. And I've been telling him as well he's been hitting well. I think a lot of these guys have been just getting hot right at the right time over the last week or two now, into the regular season, into the play-in, now into the playoffs. They've just all been getting hot at the right time. I think that's what we really needed. And Steve-O, great example of that, as I said, 2 for 2, 2 singles, a walk, a sac fly in the 3rd, and then also adding in an RBI and a run. He's been playing great defensively as well. And then you had Matt, batting 12th, playing second base. As I said, he can play anywhere as well, play second, short, or third. He was playing second base last night, Steve-O at third, me at shortstop. I really liked that infield last night, too, at Mully at first. Very crisp, honestly, all around, from left field to right field, left center, right center, second, short, third, first, pitcher, catcher. We were just all locked in last night in every realm of that baseball field, the softball diamond, that is. But Matt had a great game, 2 for 3, had a walk, a run scored, 2 singles, 2 runs batted in, and reached base in 3 of his 4 plate appearances. He had some hits and some big moments yesterday, similar to Steve Abrams as well. Steve-O had some big hits early in that game yesterday to get us going. And same thing with Matt, getting on base 2 or 3 times, or 3 or 4 times that is, getting on base with a walk once, and then 2 singles as well, 2 RBIs, a run scored as well. And then obviously played great defensively, as I said. Was so sound out there at second base the last few games, and Game 2 was probably the best defense I've seen him play all year. He was just locked in, making some acrobatic grabs, similar to the one he had in the 7th inning yesterday to put the game away, or the second to last out we had yesterday, with Sean McKenna out there in right center making the last out. But we were just all locked in defensively, and Matt has just been getting hot at the right time on the diamond, making plays left and right, and we really needed that. As I said, a lot of these guys got on base a ton last night, and I'll break down how we did overall right now. So I could be a little bit off with my RBIs, since it's hard to tell exactly, what happened from the book and try to remember the game from that. But every player in the team, from my count, I think honestly in general, because I looked over 2 or 3 times, reached base safely at least twice, and everyone had at least 1 RBI and at least 1 run scored. So everyone on the team got a base safely at least 2 times, scored at least 1 run, and hit in at least 1 RBI. So 1 RBI, 1 run scored, and got on base 2 times for every single player in that lineup last night. That just shows how productive and how impressive of a game it was for the entire team. It really was an all-time performance, and that's what Chris McKenna regarded the game as. He says it was an all-time game, and it really was. Honestly, the lineup 1 through 12 was so productive. 22 runs on 30 hits. 22 runs on 30 hits, and on average, we did score at least 2+ runs in all 6 innings played. So 22 runs divided by 6 innings is 3.66 runs per inning on average. So very impressive game all around. We honestly didn't get up in the 7th inning, but if we did, we probably would have scored more runs. Obviously, with us being the home team, we didn't get up for the 7th. But if we did, let's say we were the away team, we got up a 7th time, we would have definitely added on to that 23-run total. Definitely tacked on maybe 1 or 2, 3 more runs if we were the away team and got a seventh chance to get up to the plate. But at the end of the day, winning the game is most important. And our offense was hot all night. We scored 4 runs in the first inning, 5 runs in the second inning. After the second inning, we led 9-2, and after that, we never really looked back. Scored 2 runs in the third, 5 runs in the fourth, 3 runs in the fifth, and 3 runs in the sixth inning for a final score of 23-2. And honestly, or 22-3 that was. But that's what we really needed. We needed that kind of performance to get going, get hot at the right time. And had we lost last night, it's win or go home. You lose that game, we go home and the season's over. We're looking up to next season and looking into the future. But we just knew we didn't want to go home early, and Mad Dog said that in his email. And Mad Dog's been doing great with his emails, getting everyone going and giving a great scouting report of what we have to do on the base paths, the infield, the outfield, what we have to do at the plate. He's been doing great there, firing everyone up. And in a second, I'm going to give you his post-game interview. But we've just been so locked in at the right time, and if you look at how many runs we scored at least 2+ runs in all 6 innings last night. So we didn't really have any dull innings last night. No 1, 2, 3 innings, as you can see. We had at least 4, 5, 6 base runnings in every inning last night at the top of my head. So huge game for us last night. I'm very proud of how hard the boys fought. Very well-deserved effort to be now advancing now to face Local 103, another Union squad in Local 103. After beating Local 104, now we're going over to play 103. We were 1-1 against them in the regular season. We did have a forfeit win against them, so we only really faced them one time. They were second in the B division in the regular season with a 16-9 record, winning 9 of their last 11 games played, and they're also the 1 seed. So now we have a tough contest, but I'm very confident in how well we've been playing over the last few games. Game 2, losing to Local 104. We should have won that game. Just had a bad last 7th inning. In the bottom of the 7th, not recording it out, and they just went hit after hit after hit. We honestly should have won that game, put that game away. We've been playing great softball all around, so I'm very excited to see what this team does now. We're now going on to face Local 103. As I said, we'll be playing them Friday night, a big Game 1 showdown at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow night. And then Game 2 will be on Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Both of those games at Faxon Park and Quincy. So I'll be recapping, hopefully, some huge wins for us in the future. I'm happy I could bring you guys this episode and break down how this game went for those who missed it and those who were not able to follow along in the email chain. So now I'm going to give you Mad Dog McKenna's post-game interview. Hope you guys enjoy it. Here we are with the coach, the captain, Stellwagen softball, Chris Mad Dog McKenna. Hey, how did tonight feel? How was that big win?
Hey, we just kept hitting. We feel solid. I mean, these guys are good, right? So I want to say between, I don't know, the 4 or 5 games we played them this year, the margin of victory was, they walked off on us last game. We beat them by 1 last game. Home field advantage was great. And then even in the regular season, they walked off on us with a 4-run lead in the 7th once. And then I think we only beat them a couple, by...
It's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, we're an evenly matched team. Those guys are, they're good. So, yeah, I'm just proud of the guys. And, I'm proud of myself for putting together
Absolutely.
A solid lineup going
on. How did it feel to have a 12-man lineup? First time we run that, I think.
First time in a long time, A lot of teams actually do that in this league, believe it or not. Because guess what? Like, in the first game of this series, in the first inning, our guys rammed 2 of their guys.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a physical game. Physical game. So going into game 2 and 3, you had a game plan for physicality.
So exactly. 11. So here's the thing: 11 in the second game, but one of our guys had a call last second. So
Green.
10. So guess what?
You were in the lineup with the hamstring injury. How's the hamstring feeling?
It's a little tight, but I was running.
You were on base 3 or 4 times tonight. You even scored a couple of runs too. You ran around the bases. No substitute runner for you.
Nothing for
at
me.
all.
No, balls to the wall.
Absolutely.
Game 3.
So what's the game plan for the next series?
All right. So we got number 1 seed, Local 103. So we just beat a Union team, and now we're going to beat the shit out of another Union team. Yeah. This is Local 4. They were looking at 103, but again, they're the top team in the division. We didn't get to play them this year, I don't believe, because they forfeited against us in the game. So so we're going in blind. So
they can play an advantage, though. They can play an advantage. They might not know how we hit, too.
Yeah, so the game plan is probably put everybody's name in a hat, and just pull them out and see what
it worked tonight. It worked tonight.
No, there's a strategy.
20 runs tonight? We scored 20-plus runs.
23, I think.
23. Look at that. Look at that. So, hamstring's feeling good. Big win tonight for the Stellwagen team. We're on to the next round. Let's get it.
We are.
Any other words? Any other words for the fans? There are going to be listeners. Send it right to the email chain. Everyone's going to listen in. So, any other words of encouragement?
Stellwagen for the win.
So there you have it, Stellwagen for the win, as Chris Mad Dog McKenna said, the heart and soul, the captain, the coach, the longtime star of this Stellwagen softball team, formerly the Essex softball team as well. Chris Mad Dog McKenna has been the heart and soul of every squad we've had, and it's a pleasure playing alongside him and playing alongside the rest of the guys. Honestly, all of us have been, giving everything we've had, and I'm just excited to see what we can do in this next round now versus Local 103. Obviously, as I said, they're a very good opponent. We're going to have to be on our A game and give everything we have offensively and defensively like we did tonight. But I have all the trust and the faith in the world in Chris Mad Dog McKenna putting together another crazy lineup like he did last night, and it worked. So I'll keep you guys posted about how that goes. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen to this. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good one. Roll Stellwagen. Thank you.